I like cycling, and a lot of my friends like cycling, and so we've tried on 3 occasions to raise big amounts of money. The first one was right across the north of England, from Whitehaven to Tynemouth, and there were 15 of us for that one, and we raised £16,000, which was a great effort. And then the next one, we cycled from Aberystwyth all the way back to Willen, over all the mountains in Wales, and there were 25 of us for that one. We had a target of 17,000, but we actually raised 36,000 with gift aid, which was fantastic. The idea for that was to fund a nurse, an at-home nurse, and we're really pleased with that. This one is a slightly bigger venture. There are 37 of us, and we are looking to cycle over to the East Coast and back to the hospice. The target is 40,000.
The work of the hospice is predominantly around end-of-life care. We have 15 beds for inpatients here on this site. A huge amount of our work goes on in the local community, in the patient's own home. So we have a team of clinical nurse specialists who are often the first port of call and a coordinator, signposter of care along the patient's journey. And we have another group of nurses who are called hospice at home, and they actually provide the same specialist palliative care nursing service, but in the patient's home rather than in the hospice.
When my sister was poorly, just over 10 years ago, she spent a few days here, and that was the first time I'd been to see what a great setup it is in terms of its location and the fact that she was so well looked after while she was in here. She just felt very relaxed here. It was obviously a really tranquil place for her to be. She felt well cared for, and she was just able to spend those few days adjusting, I think, to the fact she was poorly, but it just gave her time to enjoy the gardens and the lake. Having spent those few days in Willen, she did go home to die just a couple of days later.
It comes down to the environment that they're in. It's not a hospital environment. They can actually move away from their beds, they can move away from their rooms, they can go and be their own person that they used to be. And sometimes just sitting in the tea area, sitting outside, chatting about the things that you've done in the past, the laughs that you've had, you know, even the plans that you have. It just allows them really to just move away from the reality of the situation and be their own person again.
We're an independent charity here at Willen. Many hospices follow that model. We have partial support from the local commissioners, which is NHS money, and that represents around 23% of what we need to provide the service. So in monetary terms, that's approximately £1 million. The whole service that we provide costs around £4.5 million, £4.6 million. Therefore, simple maths, as a charity, we have to raise £3.5 million every year on. And as you can imagine, the whole enterprise of raising that amount of charitable funds constantly is huge.
It is a community hospice. It's a fantastic place. It's really a great place to work, great people to work with, and it just generates such a lot of enthusiasm. And it survives because the community have bought into it and support it.
Cycling is very popular in Milton Keynes, and it's an area of huge growth over the past few years. I think this is a wonderful example of how a lot of money can be generated by the commitment of a particular group.
about 70 miles a day, which is quite a lot. It's over to East Anglia, so it's obviously not going to be as hilly, but you've got the winds to put up with, and also it's a lot of miles. We are all mature, we're kind of 50 plus, maybe 60 plus, so it is a big challenge. We're hoping to raise 40,000, and if we do that, we're going to use it for inpatient care at the hospice. As an example, that sort of money would buy us 100 days of inpatient care for an individual.
And this one, I think, is going to be even more of a challenge in terms of the mileage, because we're going to be doing virtually 70 miles every day for the first 3 days, and just the actual finishing at the end, achieving, knowing that you've done a good job and hopefully raised a lot of money to support the hospice. That's what we're all there for at the end of the day.
£7 a minute is what it costs to provide the services for our patients in the hospice, and I think if you can give on a regular basis £7 a month, then I think that's making a really big difference in a way that you can actually really quantify yourself.
We can't do this without you.
Help us make a difference.